There are moments in human history that defy all logic. Moments when the physical world is violently interrupted by the divine. In the year 33 AD, on a desolate limestone hill outside the gates of Jerusalem, an execution took place that would rip the very fabric of reality in two. It was an event so catastrophic, so historically undeniable, that even the sun refused to shine. The Gospel of Luke tells us that they brought him to a place called Golgotha in Aramaic, or Calvary in Latin. It translates, literally, to the place of the skull. Historically, this wasn't an isolated, quiet hill. It was likely a busy crossroad, specifically chosen by the Roman governor, Pontius Pilate. The Romans did not invent crucifixion, but they perfected it as a machine of state-sponsored terror. It was reserved for the lowest of the low, rebellious slaves, insurrectionists, and the worst criminals. Crucifixion was designed to be public, humiliating, and agonizingly slow. The Greek word used is stauros, originally referring to an upright stake. It was a punishment that stripped a human being of all dignity. Yet it is here, in the epicenter of human cruelty, that the greatest paradox of history unfolds. Jesus was not alone. He was crucified between two criminals, fulfilling the terrifying prophecy of Isaiah 53, written 700 years earlier, which stated the Messiah would be numbered with the transgressors. Above his head, the Romans nailed a titulus, a wooden sign inscribed with his crime. It read, "This is the King of the Jews." To the Roman soldiers, it was a cruel, sarcastic joke, a warning to anyone who dared defy Caesar. But to the author of the Gospel, it was a profound theological proclamation. Rome thought they were mocking a defeated rebel, but they were inadvertently announcing a king being enthroned through his own suffering. As the soldiers gambled for his bloody garments, an act perfectly predicted in Psalm 22 centuries prior, the crowd mocked him. The religious elite sneered, "He saved others, let him save himself." But the response of Jesus of Nazareth shattered the expectations of the ancient world. In extreme agony, suffocating under his own weight, his first thought was not a curse upon his executioners. It was an intercession. "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." Beside him, the two criminals represent the eternal dichotomy of the human heart. One reacts with bitter pride, echoing the mockery of the crowd. "Aren't you the Messiah? Save yourself and us." He demands salvation on his own terms, a rescue from physical pain without spiritual transformation. But the other thief perceives what the religious scholars and Roman elites cannot. He rebukes his companion. He recognizes his own guilt, the justice of his sentence, and the absolute innocence of the man bleeding beside him. He makes a simple, desperate plea. "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." The response of Jesus is a cornerstone of Christian theology. "Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise." And then the earth responds. Luke records that it was about noon, the brightest part of the day, but suddenly An unnatural darkness swallowed the entire land. This was not a standard eclipse. A solar eclipse cannot happen during a full moon, which is when the Passover always occurs. For 3 agonizing hours, the sun simply stopped shining. The physical universe was mourning its creator. But the darkness outside was only a reflection of what was happening inside the temple in Jerusalem. And the curtain of the temple was torn in 2. This wasn't a flimsy piece of fabric. Historical accounts suggest the veil separating the holy place from the Holy of Holies was massive, thick, and heavy. It stood as a physical and spiritual barrier, a terrifying warning that sinful humanity could not stand in the presence of a holy God. When that veil violently ripped from top to bottom, the message was clear. The barrier was destroyed. The Greek concept of hilasmos, propitiation, the sacrifice that absorbs wrath and restores peace, was complete. With a loud voice, Jesus cried out, "Father, into your hands I commit my spirit." And he breathed his last. The crucifixion at Golgotha was the collision of divine justice and radical love. It proved that God did not remain distant from human suffering, but willingly plunged into the very heart of it. The cross, an instrument engineered by an empire to spread terror and death, was subverted. It was transformed into the ultimate symbol of hope and redemption for all of human history. The darkness had fallen, and the King was dead. But Sunday was coming.